Okay. Right. So your underlying energy is the 10 of Cups. Okay. So this is talking about an emotional cycle coming to an end. This also talks about happily ever after. You think, the happily ever after family. There's a lot of cards. There's a lot of things that can come up with this card, but this is like tying things up, right, in an emotional way. Sometimes it's a good thing, right? Sometimes it feels good, sometimes it doesn't feel that great. But it is the ending of a cycle of some sort. Now, the thing is, it could be that this is a happily ever after, right? Let's see what's underneath here. The Hangman. Perhaps this is a new perspective on what happily ever after looks like. That end game. The ending of something that can, that feels really good. Now, I like this as your current state of being because you do have the Empress here. The Empress does indicate in this reading creativity, abundance, comfort. One thing it could potentially talk about a domestic situation, but I really feel like this is just this feeling of, of creating something, manifesting. There is this like hardcore manifestation energy, and I like that here. Now, what you're kind of this also could talk about taking care of somebody. You do have two cards in here that do kind of raise my eyes a little bit. I open my eyes a little bit. But luckily, I don't see any devil energy or anything else. So I'm not going to go the whole codependent route because there is no indication of that here. So for some of you, it may be mild. For some of you, that's coming up for you guys somewhat. But for the majority of you guys, I'm not getting that. Sorry, guys. My nose is running. Coming down. I don't know if I'm coming down with anything, but I am I feel like I just am suffering from allergies. But anyway, now your current not state of being, but your desired outcome is the 7 of Swords, and I feel like you guys just want to go out and take a risk and go out and do it, make it happen. Just take what you want. Right? It may be uncomfortable for a second, but you just kind of want to rip the bandage off, if that makes sense, or rip off the tape that's stuck on some like hair on your body or something. It's gonna hurt, but you want to do it fast and get it over with. And I feel like you guys just want to step outside of your comfort zone and do something interesting, do something different, do something exciting. And I think that's why the Queen of Wands came up, right? Something was not satisfying, you're ready to go and take a risk and go on an adventure, do something that's exciting. But the thing that's keeping you guys from going ahead and doing all that is the Page of Swords. Now, the Page of Swords being in the blockage energy could indicate that there's not a lot of communication. There's not a lot of conversations there. Maybe there's a little bit more insight that needs to be gained here. At the same time, it could be that there is just some sneaky sort of energy, because the 7 of Swords and then the Page of Swords, they're both very sneaky. They can be anyway. And luckily, I don't see any other cards that indicate sneaky behavior. I feel like there's just a lack of communication, a lack of, conversation. I think there's a dream or something that you guys may want to go after, but there's not a lot of communication about it. There's not a lot of people that talked, that have said it. And I feel like maybe there is something that needs to be said regarding this desire to, manifest. But the thing that's keeping somebody here is perhaps someone's committed to this. It's a commitment. Perhaps it's a change of plans, and it's you have to tell the person that you're committed to this news, and you don't really know what to do about that. You don't know if you want to do all that. Excuse me. What could be here too is that there is this realistic. Maybe you were very grounded and you were seeing things from a very realistic view. Right? It could have been that somebody was very practical, and somebody's looking at the situation very practically, but I feel like there's just this communication here that needs to come up, right? Yes, you may be committed somewhere, or someone may be committed to you, but if this is, you got if you had the 8 of Cups come up with the Queen of Wands, if what you're creating it isn't really surrounded by support or people that want to help you build it, and if you're not getting the satisfaction that you're looking for in your current situation, then it will require, why not do something different? Why not go ahead and just make it happen? Well, your best path to follow here is the 9 of Swords. Okay, so that is very interesting. The 9 of Swords here does indicate that there's a lot of stress. There's a lot of, it's not even, I'm sorry, it's not the Nine of Swords. It's the Ten of Swords. That's talking about ending something. I always get the Nine of Swords and the Ten of Swords a little bit confused, even though this is the only, as far out of all the Swords cards, they have like, they don't have any red. Like the Nine of Swords doesn't have any red. It's like looking up into the sky, and it's very similar to the Nine of Swords in a way. But I don't know why I thought this was the Nine of Swords. This is the Ten of Swords. And it's talking about ending something, just going ahead and just cutting it. You've been committed to this thing for quite some time, but it's clearly not really what you need to do. It's clearly not really what you want. Now, the thing is, it may not mean cut the situation, right? It just means that it just ended. You just speak your truth and have it out, right? And just the relationship doesn't necessarily have to crumble due to something that you want to create, unless it's something it's something outside this relationship, something that you can't do in a relationship or in a connection. Perhaps that's what it is, right? There's just like you're committed to this person, but your happily ever after has changed. It looks like. What's underneath here again? The Hangman. Yeah, change of perspective. You've got a new idea of what the Ten of Cups is for you. So you want to happily ever after, but I don't know if it's with this individual anymore. You feel creative. You want to go out there and take a risk. At the same time, you're attached to someone. And it looks like the Ten of Swords saying it's time to just end it. End the situation. Not say break. And I don't know if it's breaking up, but I get this feeling that it's talking about really stopping the flow of something that isn't really resonating with who you are. Just let that, communicate that, let it out. Because here you have in your feelings the Eight of Wands. So it talks about progress. It talks about movement. Okay? It could be that there is this feeling of wanting to make something happen, move something forward. Right? I feel like you have changed and you've, made progress. So that's in a way coming up as, you making progress, right? You could also be feeling like, you're feeling like you are making ground on, your spiritual and internal development. You feel like you're moving very fast. As a matter of fact, it could be that the situation may be moving very fast altogether. Like, maybe you need to just maybe the situation is like, look, I like you, but you're moving in a little too soon. Like, I need some time. But perhaps you could be feeling very overwhelmed right now, as a matter of fact, because taking that risk in regards to this Queen of Pentacles, this person is committed to you. It will probably be overwhelming, the fact that you have to communicate with them, or you need to, right? Your hopes and fears is the Two of Swords. You want to make the best decision. And honestly, you want to make it as painless as possible. That's why I get with this Two of Swords. And it's hard to do, especially when it comes to the Page of Swords, right? Sometimes the things that you need to say, it just needs to be said the way it is, right? Of course, there's other ways to say things. You want to be very cautious about that, right? But at the same time, you don't want to keep this up forever. I don't think you do. I think you want things to just happen, like rip it off like a bandage. I don't think you want to just keep the balance all the time and kind of smile it off, because it's not really who you are, right? This doesn't resonate anymore. It's like, it's time for some change. It's time to really go towards what you really want. And I feel like you can, and I feel like you will here with the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is your wish, is the wish card, right? It's the best card out of the tarot deck, in my opinion. It talks about content. Finally, being happy with where you are and, where you're going. And I really feel like, Pisces, it may not mean break up, right? It may just be like, hey, I can't go in the flow of this situation anymore. We got to do something different. Maybe that could be it, right? You don't necessarily have to break up. But at the same time, if this is something that you believe you have to break up for, right? Only you can know if this is a breakup or not. Only you know if this is time to completely end that cycle and go with something else and try something else. Because in the past, you had a lot of stagnancy. And it was because you needed a new perspective. And now it's looking like there's some stuff that needs to just kind of, it needs to end for sure. At least for you. Okay. Let's take a look, see. Wow. Have patience, it says. Love is patient and kind always. Yeah. I would say not to make any moves until after Mars goes direct. Okay. Once Mars goes direct, then go crazy, right? But the thing is, like, you don't want to break up or do anything like that. Do anything like that before Mars goes direct, because, you don't want, something happens, usually when something, like, usually it doesn't last for a very long time when things start during a retrograde. Same with Venus retrograde. Be careful when you do anything during a Venus retrograde, because they have the potential to restart itself as well, okay? Same with Mercury retrograde, but the Mercury retrograde ends before Mars does. Okay, so you don't have to worry about what about Mars retrograde? What about Mercury? Don't worry about Mercury. Mercury, just really worry about Mars, because at the end of when Mars goes, direct, Mercury would have already gone direct by then. All right, let's see what's going on with your romance angels. Oh, this does not come. All right. Children. Wow. Your love life is affected by children. Perhaps you guys are, the reason why you guys want to kind of split from this relationship is perhaps you guys want to have children. I never thought about that. The thing that's keeping you from being able to go off and have a child go off and do something new is because you perhaps, this relationship that you're in doesn't permit children. Like, maybe you guys want to be a mother or be a father, and the person that you're with is not really wanting to have kids. For some of you guys, it could be that there's projects and things like that too. Maybe there's no children at all involved, and there's just some things that you want to start, like some projects you want to begin, and it's like there's no room for it. There's no space in your relationship for it.